different. I'll take this to them on Tuesday. This is a little different, as it says in statute, it has to approve that process. So this isn't like just like our regular contract money. There's a pot of money to be distributed. I'll get feedback from the school board on it, but I will bring this to them on Tuesday in a closed session.
We were thinking about the 2018-19 evaluations too, and people newly hired who are maybe coming from Marion or Sumter or Fernando with an evaluation. We prefer to see that people who are hired into the district have the opportunity to benefit from the funds, even though it's a one-shot deal and it's fleeting and it's probably not going to look the same next year if it looks like a bonus at all. But we understand your point about there being time constraint.
Oh, that will be a big issue, yeah. From my experience in HR, that will be a very big issue, getting that information from other districts.
And not every district finalizes their summative at the same time, right?
That I don't know. I can't imagine it would all do it at the same time. It would be a guess for me to say otherwise, but I can't imagine they're all done. With ours, we bring in the principal secretary and they go in and they make sure everything is correct in Skyward on one day. So all that's done for the instructional staff on one day. But I can't imagine what other districts would do. I doubt larger districts would do that because they would have more than 22 people coming in to do that. So.
We prefer to provide for as many people as we can, as much as the categorical funds will allow. But we understand your concern for an extended timeline to get it done. We had discussed if it would be reasonable to provide a similar timeline for people to produce their summative evaluations as was offered to the newly recruited teachers to produce evidence of their content expertise, I guess is what it's called.
But that's already there. Those would either be in the form of their certificate, which we would have, or their transcript, which they would have to have already given to us. So we would already have that information to determine if they were eligible for that. Because they have to turn in their transcript, and if they're using their transcript to say, I have classes in this field, or their certification from the state, which.
You mean at the time they're hired, they submitted those?
But you were given a timeline too, for them to put into an email.
To apply.
Right, so that's what we're talking about. They're still having a timeline, maybe they can have a timeline to get their evaluation too,
Collect it and get it submitted.
Yeah.
So.
And it's still not gonna get everyone, because some people will not have their evaluation, but at least it gives an opportunity for some that are newly hired here that we, took on, such as county took on, and maybe at least get them somewhat of a timeline to get their evaluation if they're able to. We know we're not gonna get it all. We know some won't even, but give them the opportunity.
And like I said, this process, by statute, has to be approved by the board. So that is, again, something I would have to take to the board and ask, because the process that we have in place was the one that the board has agreed to. So I will have to bring that forward. And if they don't, we've already sent out the emails for the others. So now, if we give them, let's see, it's the 8th. What timeline would you be thinking of?
Well, first of all, when you say you have to bring it to the board, what's your timeline for that?
It'll be Tuesday. We'll get the first board meeting, which is a few
You
days.
don't have a workshop before that?
No, this Tuesday.
Okay.
This coming Tuesday.
Yes, this is the 8th. So I'll take it to them then.
Okay.
So then, I'm just like, No, I just mean like how many days are we talking about giving? I'm just looking at the calendar, trying to figure out.
Well, we were thinking maybe most we could give them is 3 weeks. I mean, that's not even a lot, but, you know, we understand the time constraint. That way you guys get your paperwork in and everything too.
Because in order for anything to take effect in the checks, we're just talking about like the December checks, which would be for salary increases or the board match increase. I would have to have the information in by the 29th of October. That's 2 weeks before the board meeting. So even as far as the board match goes, I mean, I would have to have that proposal into the board on the 29th. 2 weeks before the board meeting, so 3 weeks. Because that's, like I said, I'll take it to the board and ask if that is the will of the board on that part, because they already agreed to the timeline and to the parameters that we had set on that. So I'll take that on the 8th, next Tuesday as well.
Well, we are in agreement though that the recognition piece was intended to be negotiated, right? So it would be negotiating in good faith to come flexible. So we have hope, right, that the board would view our proposal with flexibility.
Oh, I'm gonna present it exactly as it is here. They know our proposal. I'm gonna give them a copy of our proposal as well. Say, here's what we had,
Right.
and here's the counter to that. It won't just be one side. I'll remind them of what we had,
Okay.
and then I'll say, here was the counter to that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, it won't be just, here's what they said. Little reminders perhaps of what they had agreed to in our previous meeting.
All right.
No, hang on a second. With that being said, the board match, the $10 board match that we TA'd, the 29th, I'm looking at my calendar here to make sure I got it right. You all, by your bylaws, it's 5 working days for ratification, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was. If we don't have that by the 29th for it to go to the board, we're back in the position we were last year where our employees won't see that decrease in their premium in the December checks that they've, have earned through the behaviors and things that they've done. So I just want to, is there any way that if we aren't coming up with an agreement on monies, that there'd be a way for ratification on the board match by that date? And I'm saying that because I really, really, really want to get that done. I don't think anybody in here wants to see that drug out. I know, does that make sense?
So what are we entitled, up to 3 ratifications in a year? 3?
Sure.
Is that?
I don't think we ever, since I've been here, we haven't done more than one.
Yeah, we haven't done more than one, that's why it's in the
So
lab.
I've never done more than one, Val. I just, I just don't want us to be behind the 8 ball on that.
Right,
You know?
right.
And if we've already agreed to it,
We just have to be careful if we ratify on one, we have to make sure we're able to ratify on everything else after.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but.
So our contract says ratifications not to exceed 1 per semester. So if we ratify
And not this semester.
It's weird,
and-
like-
And then it would be January.
right before you can get
Till-
to the,
Thinking.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting. Just saying.
push that language of
We-
ratification
we
along
can
with
push
the
that.
I'm thinking that we have 2 things on the ratification.
Yes, right.
And,
And we want to add 2 more ratifications.
I don't wanna have it ongoing forever, I just don't want us to, does anybody remember why it was done that way? or-
Well, I will tell you that in the past, we did everything
I know,
all
yeah.
together, yeah, all the time. And, so,
I know, and I understand that, and I've looked at that, and and that's why I started looking at the calendar, I'm like, oh my gosh, I think it's 5 days for them, 5 business days, and that made it shorter. And I checked it, I said, when do I have to have this in by? I mean, 2 weeks in advance, I go, God, that's the 29th, so, so we can only do one a semester.
Did we not think about this before?
well, because we never had this situation happen before with the board match being separate from the money. This
Yeah.
stupid performance pay and everything has messed us up and all
Yeah.
the bonuses.
And like I said, in the board match, that's the reason why I brought it up earlier, I wanted to kind of get that monkey off everybody's back, you know, everybody kind of feel better about it, that's, of course, the unintended consequence of that, it's not a plan at all. So,
Yeah, I'm not sure why that particular provision ended up in the negotiations procedure in the contract. If we can, I'm not even sure it really makes perfect sense considering you can have up to 3 ratifications a year, but only 1 per semester.
Yeah.
How does that work?
yeah,
Who did the math on that?
How does that work?
I mean, is that like one in the spring, one in the fall, one in the summer? But I just can't imagine what the,
Maybe.
It was before me.
I know, I just,
Maybe.
and Lynn's not here, who might have been able to,
Where's Deborah?
I can always contact Deborah.
That's why I said, where's Deborah?
yeah. I'm just trying to think of a way to, I don't
So we
wanna,
wanna.
I don't wanna cut off our nose to spite our face here, I don't wanna jump to this and make it where no one can get
Yeah.
a
raise us
retro check, yeah.
Raise us away until spring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not good. Well, how quickly can we?
Welcome to my world,
When's the
Bill.
next time we can get together?
Just a second here. I'm free tomorrow.
I was,
I
Hey,
just
maybe
imagine,
the
I
other
imagine
one.
we get notifications when I say that,
So if the board meets on
the
Tuesday,
8th, yes.
right? And
Yes, it-
presuming that this is finished and we're prepared to move the conversation.
When we meet again, this after Tuesday, I will have a response, to your counter on the recommendation. After the 10th, my life gets a lot easier when it comes to that, because
After the 10th?
there's no more, presentations, for,
Roadshow.
yeah, for health insurance. The 11th is the last day, to do that, and then,
So, what was the reason we were trying to avoid Mondays?
because none of my administrators would be here. So that would be why,
Okay.
it would be myself,
Thank you.
and perhaps Lynn.
When do you,
And Lindy might be here, you can't be here, Vicki can, and Linda can't be here. So that's when they meet, with their administrative team.
I think when we start really discussing money, salaries and stuff, I think that's gonna have to be longer than a half day because, or, I'm tired of being up every time in the afternoon.
So, you're better after the 10th, and the week after that, is really not feasible, other than Monday.
Now, just to say this, when we start looking anywhere past that week, there's not gonna be enough days, correct me if I'm telling me wrong, for ratification.
To have it done by the 29th.
Yeah, for the 29th. Correct?
Right.
Okay, just wanna make sure that I'm counting them right on here.
It's just morning.
But if we get through this. Then you have time to do this.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm getting this to you. So I can tell you. I took that. That more than
On the 14th. Okay, so there are a couple different ways framing this up, figuring out how to move forward. We could look at possibly doing something to fix contract language that prohibits
So I understand what you're saying, yeah,
ratifications more than once in a semester, or try to get through the economics,
How about we do both?
which is,
How about we do both?
that week, the week of the 14th is a heavy week for us because we do have the state assembly.
All right, let me ask you this,
And you also have this.
is anyone available on the 10th? It's a Thursday. Okay. Val, Vicki?
What's me, Vicki?
She said she pulled off, that's the reason why I'm checking with you now.
I just have to check to see with the parent conference.
Will
Okay.
that be in the morning or the afternoon?
I don't have I don't have an insurance presentation that day.
I have a,
So, I mean, I have,
In the afternoon, I'd have to leave.
I have a parent conference in the morning and the afternoon.
I was just thinking, because that's the closest, I
Right.
can't do the 9th, but the 10th, I don't have any presentation, that's right after the board meeting. And we could,
Like I said, I'm sure
We can't move PPE.
That's what you-
it's a teacher something.
But I'll be on very long,
So she'll be,
be out of the country for
Steve, it's the only reason we were saying no to the 14th was for administrators. I can make the 14th, still
I
think
can
on
do
the
it in the afternoon,
afternoon of the
on the
14th.
14th, which
We
is
can make-
Monday.
We can make it work if that works for. That was the only reason to run.
I mean, I can do that, I don't have anything on the 14th.
Let's do the 14th.
But it would have to be,
I won't be. I won't be here. She has surgery.
oh,
So I can't.
Dave, but don't leave today before I can talk to you about
Okay.
that other thing, okay, if you don't mind. I mean, I'm good, I can do the 14th, absolutely, but as you said, I know they need in the morning. Are you gonna be here, picture still?
I'll talk.
Mr. Jakes, because I have our own last calendar, it doesn't say he's gonna be out, so he might be able to.
Okay, I'll speak with him and see if
They
we
let
can
us
get here in
know.
the afternoon. So we meet, I mean, we're gonna be talking money, so I'd like to get started as quickly as we could.
we turn it all day then, or?
Well, they can't be here in the morning, so I mean,
Afternoon.
yeah, as early in the afternoon as we can
Well,
start.
11 o'clock is the earliest we get to leave,
I
and that's to go eat lunch.
I know. So I mean, we can start 12:30 if you want to, I just, if you wanted, anyone who you wanted here for discussing money, just,
Okay, let's do 12:30.
okay,
14th?
yes. Thank you.
Do you know where it's to be?
We will get back to you
We'll
on
check
that.
with
Okay.
we'll check with him today and see if this is available. This is just easier.
He's so accommodating.
Now,
Nice day.
I will say this, I'm gonna be setting up a meeting, in January for us to talk about supplements. So if you, I need your list of whoever's on your committee, I'm gonna say by after Thanksgiving. It'll give you time to get it done, but I need it by then so everybody can be included on the meeting request. Does that make sense? We'll talk more about that date, but I know it's not gonna be able to happen right now, but we do need to set that up and let everybody know as much in advance as we can as to where we're going with it. All right, so we're meeting the 14th at 12:30, hopefully here, but if that changes, I'll let you know, you can let everybody know. Okay? And it currently, it says 1 per semester gratification, but 3 per year? Okay.
Yeah, so that's what we gotta discuss.
Yeah. Okay,
Don't know why I wasn't, that was not contacting you guys.
all right. I appreciate it, folks. And I will meet again on the 14th.
Linda says she's sorry she didn't make it.
I gave her
She will be here next time when you're discussing salary.
It was last week, I said, we're meeting next week, I was listening, you know, she texted me, and she said she was gonna be here, and
Thank you, Caleb, for sending that request out.
Yes.
So he's here and wants to change his.
We're doing that.
Yeah. And I'll find out today, if this is available. Do a travel.
Here.
And
congratulations.
This is done, this is done.
Oh, fine.
It's already- You know what I mean? It's like that. And then she said, "Well, yeah,
Come on, Lisa.
make sure you go."
I want to scrap that.
You know what I mean? It's like- But I mean, you guys are organized, and I'm like, oh, yeah, but.
Greg, you'll have to speak to me on the 14th.